I want to talk about the features that make Subaru unique in the marketplace. It's part of what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Every vehicle that we manufacture uses a horizontally opposed engine. We call them flat fours. We used to have a flat six, but now everything's a flat four. So let's take a look under the hood and I'll tell you why that's an important design feature. And we'll look at the 2021 Ascent here. And this features, it was new for 2019, so this is a 2021 model year. We've had it for 3 years. It's actually also available in the Legacy XT and the Outback XT. And you remember we did an Outback XT touring review earlier in the series. But if you look at the Subaru design for the motor and where it sits in the engine compartment, you can see that it's very low and it's centered. The motor actually has pistons that are configured flat. So they move back and forth as opposed to a V configuration where they'd move in a V motion, or even an inline where they would move up and down. So what that does is it gives our motor the ability to be mounted very low in the engine compartment. And that leads to a low overall center of gravity for every one of our vehicles. I'm going to walk around to the side here and show you, no matter which SUV that you're looking at from Subaru, they all have 8.7 inches of ground clearance. That means the Crosstrek, the Forester, the Outback, and the Ascent are all the same height off of the ground. But if you take a look from the side and look into the engine compartment, you can clearly see that this motor sits very, very low. That's why if you're driving a Subaru, and if you've test driven one, or even if you own one, you'll know that this is true. If you're going around a ramp to get on the highway or coming off the highway at speed, as you go into the corner, a lot of SUVs will lean. Subarus stay very, very flat, and that's because the engine is mounted very low in the engine compartment and we have such a low center of gravity. Now, the other unique thing to Subaru is we have symmetrical all-wheel drive. What that means is if we were to cut the car in half and break it in two pieces, the drive shafts that are on the right side of the vehicle will match the length of the drive shafts on the left side of the vehicle. So that means the car is very, very well balanced side to side, and when you hit the accelerator, you're putting power to both the left and the right wheel in equal measure. That's very, very important, especially when we transition from a beautiful sunny day like today to rain or snow. So making sure that you're getting the power down equally to the right and the left side of the vehicle is very critical. That keeps the car stable from at any point during acceleration. And of course, as you know, we have a lot of safety systems that should you get into a situation where you may be experiencing some slippage, we can counteract that and help. But just a quick overview of some of the design and engineering features that go into a Subaru and what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Now, let's talk a little bit about the motor. This, as we said, was a new motor that was designed to go into the Ascent in 2019. It's a horizontally opposed four-cylinder motor with a turbo. It has 260 horsepower, but 277 foot-pounds of torque. And when you get it in the configuration of a Touring or a Limited or a Premium, this Ascent is capable of towing up to 5,000 pounds, which is really, really excellent towing capability for a vehicle this size. The Ascent is our three-row, it's our only three-row vehicle, and it's available in a 7-passenger, which is what we'll look at today, or an 8-passenger configuration. The 8-passenger will have a bench as the second row. The 7-passenger has captain's chairs, and we'll talk about the seating here in a minute. But this motor is very powerful, very responsive, and when you drive an Ascent, you're behind the wheel, the acceleration is effortless, and of course with the low center of gravity and the quick response of the electric power steering, it's a very nimble feeling car. It really doesn't feel like you're driving a three-row SUV. It feels very similar to driving an Outback, which is a nice feature. So, all right, well, let's take a walk around and look at some of the design elements and show you some of the features of the 2021 Touring Ascent.